I don't think work-life balance exists when it comes to equal time spent. So that's the first myth I wanna bust is like it has nothing to do with time, and it has everything to do with presence. Welcome back to another episode of the Higher Alignment Podcast, where high performers come to grow without stress, shame, or burning out. I'm Minh-Thu Lam, and I'm here to help you work smarter, live fuller, and feel like yourself again. If you're tired of running on empty, book your complimentary assessment call at higheralignmentconsulting.com/program, and let's figure out what's draining your energy and what you can do to start feeling happy and peaceful once again. You can find the link in the show notes. Now let's get into the episode. So let's talk about work-life balance for a moment. It has been a while since I talked about this on the pod, but this is obviously something that's like a constant topic in the corporate world. Lots of, perspectives about it on LinkedIn. And it's good that people are talking about it, but I think there's a few things that people miss from the conversation that are really important. First, I don't think work-life balance exists when it comes to equal time spent, especially if you're a high performer. I have not met one high achieving person that has equal time spent both with their work life and their personal life. And if you know someone or if you are that person, then please shoot me a message. I'd love to interview you. But I just don't think that's realistic to have equal time spent for both. Okay. So that's the first myth I wanna bust is like it has nothing to do with time, and it has everything to do with presence. Okay? So let me explain what I mean by that. Balance to me comes from the perspective of the nervous system, okay? Which is, for those who are new and listening, is your stress processing system in your body. How you essentially interact and move through the world is based on your nervous system and the experiences it's gone through, okay? And when we talk about balance from a work life balance standpoint, my definition of it is how present can you be in the moment, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of whether you're working 10 hours a day and 2 hours of that are personal, regardless of if you're working 5 days a week, 12-hour days, and that's all work, and 2 days a week on the weekends, that's personal time. Maybe it's the complete opposite. Maybe it's well, I guess if I'm talking about high achievers, it's not going to be the complete opposite, but it's about how present can you be in the moment, regardless of what's in front of you. Because what I see with the majority of my clients and just the corporate world people, or corporate world period, again, especially people who are in C-suite positions, business owners, just, high level sales, etc., is that you are pushing yourself constantly to the edge where you don't feel present in the moment with what you're doing. When you're at work, you're usually dreaming about going on vacation or when the next vacation is. When you're at home, you're usually thinking about work and what you need to get done the next day or what you missed yesterday or how that meeting went. And it's like no matter what you're doing, your body's never fully present with where it's at. It's always split and distracted as far as your energy. And when your energy is constantly distracted or split, that's where you run into this cycle of burnout because now things that only need to take normally 10 or 20% of your energy are now taking 40, 50, 60% of your energy because you're not fully present in the moment, right? And the tricky part is that that is an overall state in the body. So it's not usually where it's like, oh, only like 5 or 10 minutes out of the day, I'm not really here. If you're in survival mode, if your nervous system is highly dysregulated in fight or flight all day long, I would bet that there's rarely a moment that you're actually truly present. And if you even have it for a moment, your mind quickly takes you somewhere else. That's why high performers struggle with meditation so much, is because it's too still and too present. Where it's like if your body hasn't been primed to be able to sit in that level of stillness, your mind starts to go, right? So then again, you can't be present in the moment. So you're burning all this extra energy in the background. And then that's why you end up resentful, burnt out, depressed, unhappy, unhealthy, bad relationships, whatever the case is, right? So if you want to find true work-life balance, We need to teach your body how to be able to be present in the moment. Okay. Now, what I will say is it's not work life balance isn't a standard formula for each person. A lot of people like to refer to it more as work life harmony, which that to me makes sense as well too. But again, if we talk about it from a nervous system perspective, work life balance is going to look different for each person. It's not a one size fits all, right? But again, it's just on how present you can be in the moment. So, first off, I'm going to say that if you're working to find work life balance, like, yeah, take in the information out there, but also know that that's very specific to you, right? So it's not necessarily going to look like whatever blanket advice is out there, right? It's going to be what is that right balance for you. And again, the way you gauge is by how present are you consistently throughout the day. Now, let me back up a little bit and start with how do you know you're not in balance? Well, survival mode, fight or flight, freeze. The body is highly dysregulated. Again, you have a hard time being in the room with your thoughts and your body. You're constantly overthinking. You're constantly in hyper control mode or perfectionist mode. You often need numbing tools like your screen or sugar or alcohol or weed or coffee. You're very reactive and sensitive to things. Easily you can, kind of freak out on someone. You are more cynical and negative. You are constantly on the go. You don't even know how to sit down. The weekends are full, the evenings are full, the days are full. Like there's just an inability to be still, right? Again, worrying about the past, worrying about the future. It's just these are all indications of being dysregulated and being out of balance, right? So, if we want to be more present, we have to introduce that in micro doses to the body. Again, I can't tell a high performer who's in fight or flight all day long to go meditate for 30 minutes. It's way too slow. And that's when the mind starts getting overactive. And then before you know it, the body's restless and it's a terrible experience in meditation and they never want to do it again. I can't tell you how many times I've had that told to me by my clients because that was me at one point too. You have to do it in baby steps, okay? So what that means is we need to introduce micro moments of presence into the body, right? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15-minute increments. Because if you start small, then the body starts to go, "Oh, that wasn't so bad. Oh, that wasn't so bad." And every time you can extend a little bit more time in being in that present state. Okay? Now, how do you do that? Regulating your nervous system. And if you want an in-depth understanding on how to do this, I have an episode called How to Regulate Your Nervous System. It's probably maybe 10 to 15 episodes back. I'm not 100% sure, but if you just go look for that, that's the title. Simple, straightforward. Go listen to that for an in-depth structure. But essentially, regulate your nervous system means get out of your head, into your body, and cue safety in your body. When we're dysregulated, the body essentially thinks that there's a bear chasing us. Obviously not really, but that's what it thinks. And that sensation of a bear chasing us could be an angry email from your boss. It could be a to-do list from a client. It could be a to-do list from your spouse. Like it can come in so many different forms that are psychological, but the body responds in a way where it thinks a bear is chasing them. So then you go into these hyper stress responses and it starts to get into this survival mode and it really shifts the way that the body digests food, the way the body breathes, the way the body just holds energy in it. You're very tense. So in these micro moments where you're introducing presence, you have to do it in a way where you get out of your head and into your body. Quick tips that I can give you right now. That means finding 5 to 10 minutes to stretch in the day. That means getting up from your desk and going for a walk without your phone. That means maybe doing some breath work. That means maybe going to have some connection with someone, going to have a talk or a hug. That means maybe doing some jumping jacks. You know what I mean? It's just you want to get out of your head and into your body because when we're processing and taking in information, 20% goes to the mind, 80% goes to the body. So if you want to switch up the overall state of how you're feeling, if you want to go from overwhelmed and anxious to more calm, Everyone always says, just think your way out of it, think your way out of it. But you've been there when you're like in this cynical, negative thought process and someone just says, think positive. And you're like, duh, I'm trying. Like, that's the last thing you want to hear in that moment. And then you're like, why can't I think positive? Well, because the brain only uses 20% of the energy. 80% of the control comes from the body. So if you can get up and again, go for a walk, do some jumping jacks, do some stretching, and get the body activated in a very intentional way that's not overstimulating, but just activating. Now your state will shift up a lot faster because we're using the stronger part of the system. So now you're not trying to think your way into positivity, you're feeling your way into positivity. And that's why it's lasting. That's why it works. Okay. All right, if you're a burnt out executive or high performer, chances are you're on a 3 to 4 month cycle of burnout, meaning the first few months you're high energy, productive, and making it happen. And then once that third or fourth month sets in, you're exhausted, irritable, snappy, and ready to give it all up. Now, there are two main reasons you get stuck in this cycle that no one talks about when it comes to stress management information out there. So I've put this together in a short video called The Real Reason You're Burnt Out. I put it in the show note links, so take 12 minutes to watch this video and let this be the first step to you getting off this hamster wheel of burnout. All right, guys, back to the episode. So when you start doing this in microdoses, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, day after day after day, every time you do that, the body becomes more present because it gets out of the head and into the feeling. You become more embodied, right? And then as you do that, the nervous system goes, oh, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. And soon you'll start to crave that presence. Where then eventually it doesn't matter whether you're at work, in a boardroom, in an office, or you're on vacation with your family and your kids or your spouse, or even by yourself, you can genuinely be there to experience the moment. And this is what life is all about, right? Like, I can't be the only person who's thought life has gotten way faster the older you get. You guys know what that's like. It's like, damn, it's like, it's already, I'm recording this, it's mid-October. It's like, how? It feels like the year just started. Time is flying by, right? But that's because we're doing so many things and we're rarely ever present, right? And even for me, I would say probably 50% or more, 50% when I'm on having a rough day, probably 70% of my day is being present now, which for me is a huge increase of what it used to. So my days are a lot more intentional and I don't feel like time is flying by just as quickly. But for instance, October has been crazy for me. It's flown by, right? But then you hear my nephew call me the other day and we were going to see him. He goes, when are you going to be here? I said, about 4 hours from now. He's like, that's too long. Like, you know what I mean? Like a kid, it's like an hour, 10 minutes is way too long to them because they're so present in the moment. They're not worrying about the past. They're not worrying about the future. They're just here and now. So if you want to like get some of your life back, if you want to be more present, if you want to enjoy the time with your friends and your family and your loved ones, even with your colleagues and your work, if you just want to like really take in the moments of your life, because that's really what it's all about is this journey, is you need to learn to become present. You need to learn how to feel safe in your body to be in the moment. And then the beautiful part of that is once you learn how to consistently do that, you're not going to feel this ache for work-life balance because you're like, I'm just balanced regardless. And that's the whole goal. So then it's not this tug of war and this push and pull of how much time do I give here? How much time do I give there? It's like, no, I'm just genuinely in my body and I'm happy and I'm fulfilled and I'm present. And then it's like the work-life balance just sorts itself out. And you don't feel such a desperation to find what that equation is for you because now you can actually just experience presence and peace in your body. And that, my friends, is the whole point. Like I've said this a million times before, and I'll say it to my blue in the face. I don't know what's the point of working so hard and building up all this wealth and accolades and all these things if you don't even feel inner peace and happiness in the process. What's the point? And you can do that. You can create peace in your body while still building those things. I truly believe you can. It might not look the same. It might take a different path. It might be different than all the information everyone's telling you out there, but is it possible? 1,000% it is. I don't think God, the universe, would have designed us this way if it wasn't possible. So come back to yourself. Work-life balance is about reconnecting with yourself, about being in tune with what your body needs, what your mind needs, so that you can just settle into the moment and truly live life for what it is and truly be in the moment. And then you really get to be in the driver's seat. Now stress and all these external things aren't driving your course, aren't steering the boat, aren't robbing you of the peace and the happiness that you're after. Now you're truly in the driver's seat. You get to be intentional and you get to design this life however you want it to be, as successful as you want it to be, but in a way that's actually nourishing and fulfilling to your heart. All right, guys, thanks for tuning into another episode of the Higher Alignment Podcast. If you got something out of this episode, I would ask that you please go subscribe and leave the podcast a 5-star review so that it can help find its way to other people who are having a hard time and need support. My mission in life is to help executives realize that you don't need to suffer in silence while still performing at a high level. I want to help free people of the heavy pressure they carry on a day-to-day basis, and having more people listen to this podcast will do just that. So wherever you listen to this, please go leave it a 5-star review, hit subscribe so you never miss another episode, and we'll see you in the next one.